we're very lucky that in Ireland, over the last number of years, the government have funded the development of co-working spaces across the country. So there's about 400 there to date, and they are places where local companies, freelancers and remote workers all come together to meet, and they're doing a huge amount for the main streets, bringing life back into our towns and villages. We set up before the pandemic, and we've always seen that one of the biggest drivers of people leaving rural and regional areas is jobs. And when you can kind of disconnect location from employment, you just free up where people can live and how they can live. And for our communities in rural and regional areas, it's truly transformative. And that move has already started to happen out of urban areas, which allows more life to come back into urban areas too. It's definitely not a them versus us, and that was actually a very important messaging part of how the government released this plan. If you look at what the likes of Twitter, Dropbox, Salesforce, even HubSpot, they're starting to hire regardless of location. So when they're advertising in Ireland at minimum, or within the European time zone. So location has all of a sudden become completely irrelevant and also more important than ever. And jobs are being advertised as EU jobs more so than Irish jobs or even Dublin jobs.
And Tracy, what are the challenges for creating these remote working hubs? Can the county support, is the infrastructure in place to support it?
So I think we've got good infrastructure, right? So on that side, we need broadband, and then layered on top of that, we need co-working spaces and all those kind of hard supports. But what we really need to do next, and what this has paved the way for, is those softer elements that we need to see in place. So with thriving remote working communities, people meeting offline, coming together around the topic, training, all of those kind of resources. And fundamentally, though, what we need to see next is a shift in the culture within organisations towards remote-first cultures, meaning that when we're moving into a hybrid workforce, it's inclusive of everybody, whether they're in the office or not. And for us, that's the next big push that needs to happen.
And Tracy, you're the founder of Grow Remote, a non-profit connecting people to remote work in Ireland. Is there a big appetite for people to go back home to, say, County Donegal, Kerry, to move back to their home county?
Yes, absolutely. And even, people say, oh, when you get a bit older and you want to settle and all of those things, people at all stages, all walks of life want to move home for various different reasons. We've heard really sad stories about parents being sick and people needing to move home but can't because the jobs aren't there, onto just wanting to move back home, to not wanting to share a house, to all of that. And so really it frees up everything, and for us and our lifestyle, it allows us to keep the culture as well of our local communities alive, which is really important.